Democrats have coup fever again. Axios reports that Democrats are plotting a Fetterman ouster. Quote, top Democrats in Pennsylvania are maneuvering to run against Senator John Fetterman in a 2028 primary contest, threatening to tear the party apart in the biggest battleground state in the nation. Because, of course, the Dems want to shiv the only sane guy in their party.
How do Democrats win back white men like yourself?
I don't know. And truthfully, I'm not sure if that's possible, to be honest. You can't defend when people are damaging buildings. That is not peaceful protests. Just because sometimes it's a decision that President Trump did, it's like maybe reflexively you have to be opposed that. Don't ever compare anyone to Hitler. We can't compare people to these kinds of figures in history.
And so, Jessica, this guy won a state that Trump has won twice, maybe 3 times. And he's very popular, it seems like. Why would you want to get rid of him?
Well, I don't. I'm not necessarily doing a primary challenge, but you marketed it as a coup. And last time I checked, a primary is not a coup. It's letting people see a contest of ideas and pick who they want. And Conor Lamb, who's one of the names being floated, was originally in the primary with Fetterman. And it's interesting because people thought he would be too conservative. And now they have this buyer's remorse problem with Fetterman himself. There are a lot of people who have gone on the record, who have worked for him. You know, there was that big piece about his mental health struggles and erratic behavior. He has a lot of turnover in his office. His press secretary, for instance, just left yesterday or the day before. It's obviously a complicated situation in there. But I will remind people, as I did regularly when Joe Manchin was still in office, that what somebody says on TV matters less than how they vote. And John Fetterman barely votes with Republicans and with Trump. He is 6% of the time. And it is hard to win a Democratic seat in a state that Trump won this time. You know, Josh Shapiro, obviously very successful Democratic governor with a 60% plus approval rating. But you need to be conscious of the things that really do matter. And I look at votes most of the time when it comes to that.
You know, Martha, after the election, Democrats said they need to reconnect with the working class and they need to lean into authenticity. Isn't that Fetterman?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Fetterman. He's not up until 2028. And, you know, McCormick just won that seat in Pennsylvania. That proves that it's a very purpley state. You know, that was a big win. So I think by the time they get around to the presidential election, they're probably not going to want to rock the boat necessarily. I think this is just sort of a fashionable idea to go against the one person who doesn't hate President Trump on the Democratic Senate side.
Is it because, Greg, he wears a hoodie and they're just jealous?
That's why you hated him, by the way.
It's because he's white.
It's because he's white.
Yeah, you know, there's no Democrat that has any credibility calling him unstable. When you've seen what they put out in the last couple of years, I mean, they got a dude that looks like a lady or is a lady. Anyway, and I'll get to that. The biggest tool for the Democrats has been identity politics, and they've used it for everything, but they can't use it on men, and he knows that. It's because the very tool it exploits the default mode of female compassion. Our job is to provide and protect. It doesn't work on us. We're not going to put strangers before our family. You know, if we feel like we're going to cross the street because those guys look dangerous, we don't care if you call us racist. We're going to bring our kid and go across the street. Identity politics would then say that you're racist. He doesn't traffic in that stuff, and it kind of threatens I think a lot of Democrat leaders who still believe that these activists have power, they don't. I mean, he's popular among Democrats, Republicans, and independents because he rejects the divisive oppression, race identity politics. You know, but he's the only one. And you only need one. I said it yesterday that, like, you know, you just need one person to speak up to the mob, and then everybody comes in and they share the risk. This is what happened with trans. Everybody was terrified of speaking up about trans, but then when some did, all of a sudden everybody did, and then those activists, they just kind of scrambled away. And I think that's what's going to happen here. It's funny. You look at, like, I go back to, like, looking at the No Kings thing, and you see the bulk of protesters are mostly older white women. You know, they're mostly alone. They're without families. They thought globally and ignored locally. And what he's saying is that's not how men think.
Joey.
Did you say it doesn't matter what you say, it's how you vote? I don't want to misquote you. You're talking about getting legislation passed and like brass tacks, right? I agree with you, but I think it does matter what you say, and that's the whole point of this. You could vote the way Chris Murphy or Adam Schiff votes and still be a decent human being, but they choose not to. That's the problem. Just think if most Democrats, and for that part, some Republicans, voted the way they always vote and didn't say the crazy things they say, the divisive things they say, the hateful and unnecessary things they say. You can challenge John Fetterman on any of his votes, and what he says about it isn't going to be how horrible Trump is. He's going to give you whatever his argument is on supporting that issue. What if we lived in that world? And it's a dangerous game. The Republicans lost this game because one of the bad effects from the Tea Party was all the blue dog Democrats got beat to the right, and then that seat got backfilled to the left, and you lost the people that you could play ball with. I mean, I would argue that the best part of Congress are those that aren't so adherent to one line list of talking points that you can have a conversation with them, and there aren't many of them left, and John Fetterman has at least turned into one of them. I could go hang out and watch a football game with John Fetterman and not be repulsed by thinking about the last 5 things he said on TV. There aren't many politicians in general I don't feel that way about. And I think that is something that's important. And Democrats probably will get rid of it because they got rid of Manchin, they got rid of Sinema, but because they voted against them on a couple things, like a budget bill or something like this, and it's going to be bad for the rest of us, for all of us.
It's interesting that the guy who wears the hoodie and the shorts is the gentleman of the Senate.
Or the guy who had a stroke.
Yeah.
And his recovery is remarkable. And his
And
recovery,
maybe that's part of it.
when he recovered,
he's been through something.
Democrats suddenly didn't like what he was saying.
Yeah.
And Greg and Jesse suddenly did.
Yeah, no, but I've
there you
admitted
go.
it.
Yeah,
No,
I admitted I was wrong.
No, we
For
were
the
all
first
wrong.
time, I was
Maybe,
wrong about
Thought he
something.
wouldn't be able to do the
And
job.
he comes on
everyone wrong.
Fox. That's pretty good for a Democrat. Ahead, JB gobbles up all the chips in Vegas. The fastest is up next. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.